I'm Adam Reilly. This is the Scrum, and today I'm going to talk with Callie, Crossley, and David Bernstein about a spate of fatal shootings in Boston to start 2014. Let's start with why this is happening. What do you attribute? I think it's 9 fatal shootings so far this year. What's the cause? Well,
the police are saying that it's gang-related, which on the one hand kind of makes the rest of us feel a little bit of relief. They're not, because if these are all gang-related, that definitely speaks to an uptick in this kind of crime, which is very tough
relief
for cops.
Because ordinary people won't have to worry
because you figure they're not, so it's directly aimed, because they say that the weather has not even stopped these people from coming outside. So it definitely has an intentional look about it. And so it's very scary, though, to see it all happening in a space of 2 days, and even if it is aimed at in some kind of retaliatory way.
No, not all 9 have occurred in 2 days, right? I mean, there was a flurry.
Right, and my understanding is they're saying, the 4 homicides in one span were all interrelated, but that still leaves several that happened.
For example, a mother, right, 29-year-old mother was killed recently. Yeah,
and 9 is a lot. It's not unheard of for a month. It's a lot, especially for January. So there's definitely reason for concern. On the other hand, the last few months, we had a lot of sort of heavier than usual gun violence in the spring and summer last year. There was a lot of concern, but it really did calm down a lot towards the latter part of the year. So it's hard to say yet whether this is an anomaly or something more.
So this is both a criminal justice problem, a public health problem, but also a political problem for new Mayor Marty Walsh, and also for other politicians in the city of Boston, like Crossley, who's called for an increased attentiveness to treating trauma. How's the Walsh administration handling this so far, including his new police commissioner?
Well, I think he looks a little bit prescient, because the very first day in office, he held a meeting about public safety, because that's where he knew that he had to put a lot of focus on.
And he talked about it on the campaign trail.
Absolutely, but he did something the first day.
And I want to give him a lot of credit, and I'm usually very critical of how the city and this police department address these things, and I reserve the right to be critical going forward. But I just want to give him credit both for the new mayor and the new commissioner for getting out in front. They really drew attention to the problem. This might not have been front page headline news, but they put out from the mayor's office a pretty substantive press release at the beginning of this week, drawing attention to it, talking about what they knew, what they didn't know, and so forth. That's something that you never saw under the Menino years. They never wanted to draw attention to something bad happening in the city. They would only acknowledge it if enough public pressure was brought.
Yeah, Mayor Menino talked about how he wished there was a paper dedicated to the good news of Boston, for example. Yeah,
and as Callie, as you've certainly commented many times, waiting for the media to find and report upon problems happening in certain areas of town. A lot can go under the radar.
Kudos to the Walsh administration then for acknowledging it, but what should the mayor and his team be doing to stem this violence?
I think he's doing it. He's pulling people together to talk about it in a serious way and letting us know that he's not going to let up on it.
David is pulling people together to talk about it enough.
It's part of it. I'll tell you something. You look at his comments to Adrian Walker, where he talked about almost an empathy towards the perpetrators, which may be going a little too far, but it's really important to have both sides, to be able to sort of look at why this is happening in sort of the macro sense, to be able to address it, but also to be able to look at those perpetrators and get them and know that you have to do something to get them off the street in the short term. So I think that much remains to be seen, but it's promising.
Yeah. All right. Callie, Crossley, David Bernstein, thanks as always. Thank you for watching the Scrum. We will see you again soon.